Hey guys, welcome back to the Destinations channel. I'm Sal Patera, and today we're going to talk about the 7 reasons why you absolutely do not want to go on a cruise vacation. We're going to come back to talk about them right after this. Welcome back, and thanks for staying through the intro. As I said before, today we're going to talk about the 7 reasons why you absolutely do not want to go on a cruise vacation. Now, I know this is a cruise channel, so you might want to watch this video to understand what I'm talking about, especially my final thoughts at the end. Before we begin, though, as always, please make sure you click that subscribe button and the little bell notification. That way YouTube will let you know every time we upload a brand new video. Now, let's go on with the 7 reasons why you don't want to go on a cruise vacation. The biggest reason I hear from people when I talk about cruising is that they do not want to be trapped on a small ship at sea. Well, let me tell you, that might have been the case if you're watching the Love Boat from back in the 70s and 80s, but ships today are not small. You're talking about ships that are literally as long as 3 football fields and as many as 15 to 20 stories high. On board, it's like being in a giant floating city. Unless you're outside or looking out a window, most of the time, you're not even going to realize that you're at sea. So that's really not a valid reason, so we're going to go on with the next one right now. And the second thing that I hear most often is that while they're going to be on board, they're going to be bored and not have anything to do on board. I'm here to tell you that that reason doesn't actually hold water either. Literally, when you're on board, when the ship is moving and not in a port of call, you're going to find activities all the way from 6 a.m. all the way until 2 a.m. So the entire day, evening, and late into the night, you're going to find many activities on board. Everything from just sitting out lounging by the pool, watching movies. Some ships even have an IMAX movie theater on board, to trivia contests, live music, entertainment, and lots more during the day. And then in the evening, that's when the ship really comes to life. That's where you're going to find your 4-star eating meals, lots of dining options, literally all day long. But after dinner is when your ship's going to come to life. That's when you're going to find the meals, and you're going to find the Broadway-style shows in the main theater, live entertainment throughout the ship, nightclubs, late-night comedians, all kinds of fun things for you to do on board. I promise, if you can't find something to do on board a cruise ship to fill up your day, well, then you're just a very hard person to please. The next reason I hear is that there's going to be too many people on board. And yeah, cruise ships today do hold a lot of people, anywhere from 3,000 all the way to 7,000 people, plus thousands of crew on board as well. And I will admit, on the very first day of your cruise, when everybody gets on board, everybody tends to do the same thing. They all go up to the buffets and the pool deck. In most cases, it's called the Lido deck, and they want to eat. And that can get very crowded on your first day of the cruise. But I'm here to tell you that after that first day, people are spread out throughout the ships and in their many cabins on board. And really, it's no different than if you're going to take a land-based vacation to a regular resort. You're going to find that it's not going to be wall-to-wall people everywhere you go. It's going to be spread out, and people are going to be having a good time, and you're not going to feel crowded on board. Okay, this next one is a big one. I get this reason a lot when I talk to people about cruising, is they're afraid that they're prone to seasickness and they don't want to be sick on board. That's a valid excuse. However, I'm here to tell you that going on a giant cruise ship is very different than going on a small boat. In most cases, unless there's very rough weather, you're not even going to realize you're on board a cruise ship. The ship actually has stabilizers out in the water, plus they're so big that really you're not even going to know you're at sea most of the time. However, if you are prone to seasickness, there's several things you can do. First, see your doctor before you go. There's actually a shot that you can take that will keep you from getting seasick on your cruise. There's also Dramamine and other things that you can take as far as medications while you're on your cruise. And even these 1980s style wristbands that cruisers wear that put pressure points right here on your wrist, and they actually work as well. So if you're prone to seasickness, try a cruise. Most people I talk to who are prone to seasickness don't get sick on a cruise. As a matter of fact, with the size of today's ships and the technology to keep the ship from going back and forth and leaning side to side, most people don't get sick while they're on board a cruise ship. And I'm going to flag into this things like a stomach virus or other viruses that can happen on board a cruise ship as well. You do see it in the media, and that's because it makes great news when it happens. However, you're actually more likely to get sick just by walking around Walmart or going to Applebee's or your favorite restaurant here in the States than you are on a cruise ship. As you're going around the cruise ship, you're going to see the crew is spectacular. It's sanitizing just about everything that's touched by passengers. There's also hand sanitizer throughout the ship for you to use. And it's actually pretty uncommon for a virus to break out on board a cruise ship. The only difference is when it happens on a cruise ship, it makes better news, which is why you see it on the news more often. Here's one that I don't hear it as often, and that's that there's going to be a lot of crime on board. That you're more likely to get ripped off or something happen to you while you're on board a cruise ship. And also, like the other things, I'm here to tell you that that's absolutely not so. Along with crew that's spread out through the entire cruise ship who are constantly watching for people who are misbehaving on board, there's also a security police system on all cruise ships that are also watching. There's closed circuit television throughout all modern cruise ships. So the cruise ship is watching and being preventive to make sure that nobody steals for you or does anything worse for you. Can it happen? Sure it can. It could happen at Disney World. It could happen at your favorite resort in Hawaii. It could happen anywhere. But you're actually very unlikely for anything to happen to you on board a cruise ship. Okay, the next reason you don't want to cruise is that there's not going to be any communication with the outside world. Once you're on board the cruise ship, that's it. You're not talking to anybody. Well, that's not true either. Modern cruise ships certainly have internet. Cell phones will work on board a cruise ship, although it can get expensive if you're making calls. Text messages will work, and most modern cell phone carriers today have text messages that will go through the internet, particularly Apple products, and they will be included in your internet package if you choose to purchase an internet package. You can also make calls while you're in port of call as well. So between your phone, text messaging, and internet, you'll have plenty of communication with the outside world. And it's literally the same thing again as if you were at Disney World or Hawaii. That person you might want to call back in Ohio isn't right there next to you, but you can still have plenty of communication between social media, phones, and internet. And the seventh reason, and this is a very popular misconception, that cruising is just too expensive. Well, I'm here to tell you, if that's the reason you're not cruising, you need to put that behind you, because cruising is actually one of the cheapest ways to travel and see the world. You're going to get to go to international destinations without ever having to buy an airline flight to one of those destinations. All you have to do is get to your original port of call where the ship is setting sail from here in the United States. Also, for the cost of really what a Holiday Inn or a Red Roof Inn is going to cost you, you're going to have all of your lodging. Most of your food, including the 5-star dinners at night, are going to be included all in that one price. Your entertainment on board, everything from the Broadway shows to the live bands throughout the ship to the comedians, all kinds of shows on board are all going to be included in that one price. Now, there are some exceptions, some things extra you can purchase on board, but you don't have to. I'm here to tell you, I know people that have paid that one price for the cruise. Again, it's about the cost of a night at a Holiday Inn per night or a Red Roof Inn per night, depending on what cruise line you are, and never spend a single penny on board and still have the vacation of a lifetime. So here's my final thought on the subject. If you're watching this video thinking I was going to talk you out of cruising, well, as you can see, you're sadly mistaken, because cruising is an exceptional, safe, and valued way to travel and see the world. Literally, for that one price, it's going to include everything we talked about, as well as passage to exotic destinations. Every morning when you wake up, you're going to be in a different country and be able to go explore that country as well. Keep in mind that a cruise ship is nothing more than a floating city. It's the same as if you were to visit Orlando. As you travel around the cruise ship, you're going to deal with the hotel. You're going to deal with the food and beverage department, the entertainment department, the housekeeping department. It's literally a floating city at sea, and you're bound to have a great time. Go there, have a fantastic time, and I promise you're going to cruise over and over. In fact, I tell people that cruising is the least expensive and most expensive vacation that you're ever going to take. What do I mean by that? Again, for the cost of just a Red Roof Inn or a Holiday Inn, you're going to have all your expenses paid and have a fantastic time. But the reason it's the most expensive is, without exception, the people who have given me all these excuses on why they don't want to cruise that we've talked to today, once they've taken their first cruise, they've loved it so much that now they want to cruise over and over and over again, and it actually will become a lifestyle choice. And because of that, it can be expensive if you're one of those people like me who cruises all the time. I have over 500 days at sea, and every time I board a ship, it's like I'm a kid for the first time in a candy store. I love cruising. I hope you do too, and I'm always here to share it with you here on the Destinations channel. Again, make sure you click that subscribe button before you go, and I'll see you in the next video.